You think about singing and songs, I would say that there are very few good singers. And there's probably a lot more good storytellers, much more, many more storytellers than there are good singers. And I was thinking, one day I was thinking, there's a lot to be happy, a lot about happiness, a lot about sadness in this world. And you wear many hats, so to speak, you know. Well, this is a cowboy hat that I bought for $125. Now, this cowboy hat is Rodeo King, okay? And I'm not really a cowboy hat wearing fellow, but there's something about this hat that I like to wear, you know? I just kind of like it. Maybe it puts me in the rodeo mood for it's February and all that good stuff here in Houston, Texas. And it's time for me to start trying to learn how to play the guitar again. Uh-oh. And so I thought, okay, and it's time for me to start trying to learn to tell a few stories and, you know, bring some light into this world. So, cowboy hat, I thought, well, that's nice. Like I tell you, I paid $125 for this hat. And it's a, you know, pretty nice looking hat. Kind of changes my personality a little bit. Kind of gives me that kind of Yellowstone cowboy kind of look. And I got another hat there. It's in that box that I keep in there, and that hat's at the time I bought it, you know, I'd never had a hat that was like, you know, that much money, and it was several hundreds of dollars. But anyway, I don't hardly ever take it out of there. But there's always something about a hat. Always something about a story. Yep. Down, down, down. Yep. There's something about a story. Well, back to the hat story. Man has many things to do in life. Sometimes he's happy, sometimes he's sad, sometimes he's wearing a black hat, you know. Other times he's, you know, changing that hat into a cap, you see. He's feeling nostalgic about times gone past when he was a child to a team that never really was much and never really was around very long. Well, these guys, they lasted about 3 years, the Colt 45s, and then they disappeared and they turned into the Houston Astros. And the Astros were around for, they're still around, they've been around a long time. And they were changed over to this old hat. And this cap here represents them as 2017 world champions, which come to find out a little later on that they was tarnished. Even though they were probably the best team and an excellent team, their reputation was tarnished until they were able to repeat their championship again. And after going to the World Series for, you know, like a 4 out of 5 times, people still look down upon them as cheaters. And nobody wants to be called a cheater. They don't want to do that because, you know, they might even decide to drag the FBI into it. Well, what would the FBI be doing caring about baseball? I don't know. I guess it could have to be something to do with gambling or anything like that. Maybe so, maybe not. There's that little story about that. Then there's another story over here. Let's see, what is this one here? Look at these guys here. It's the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans have dropped off way off. As a matter of fact, their cap here was a $2.99 purchase from the Goodwill. Now, the Texans had a pretty good little shot at winning there for a little bit, a wee amount of time, when they had J.J. Watt out there, and they had their quarterback, the old Deshaun Watkins fellow that fell in love with massage girls. Apparently that didn't go over too good, so he had to go off to Cleveland. Bless his heart. Then we ended up with a guy with, a whole bunch of different quarterbacks, and none of them were any good. And now they're all fired a bunch of coaches, and they've hired an old ex-football player that used to be here, and they're thinking that Mr. DeMeco Ryan is going to change their ways or right away. Well, maybe he will, and maybe he won't. I don't know. I do have a New York mid hat here, a New York hat. Here we go. There's a nice one right here. If anybody is Oklahoma, which does not have really a professional football team, but they got the Oklahoma Sooners, and everybody in Oklahoma is always up about the Sooners, except for the other people that live over there in Stillwater, Oklahoma, and they're all about those Oklahoma State Cowboys. But anyway, in these latter years, they've had some struggling times, and they haven't really done all that good either. Well, here back in Texas, where did it go? Oh, it's disappeared. My Longhorns have disappeared. My Longhorn hat disappeared, just like the Longhorns have disappeared. Yes, sir. I got the University of Houston floating around here too, and I've got here's a real mystery for us to look at right over here. It'll bring back some real deals. This used to be a Houston team. Yep, but they weren't called the Titans. No, they weren't called the Titans. They used to be the Houston Oilers, and everybody used to go crazy for Love You Blue until they got up in Blue Town and headed up there to Tennessee, and they become the Tennessee Titans. And there they were the Tennessee Titans. Now we have a lot of other things. Let's see here. How about this one right here? Now you can't hardly beat a Jalisco Cowboy. Yeah, and they have some tequila down there that's pretty tasty also, Yeah, they do. Yeah, gotta love some Mexican tequila. And out west there's a very fine group of people that are the Angels. Now the Angels have probably wasted the talent of one of the best players to have ever come down the pike since Mickey Mantle. And it's just a shame. It's just a shame. They had an Iron Mike, and then they just beginning to let him get old. I wish that they would have traded him away to let the little trout swim on down here to Houston, but that ain't going to happen. It never did. It never would. Last year, I think that we went to see the World Series, and guess who was in the World Series last year? Yeah, it was the Philadelphia Phillies. The Philadelphia Phillies played in the World Series and lost. And you know what they have in common with the Philadelphia Eagles, right? They have climbing to the top only to get beat. Now, that's a shame, isn't it? You got the city of brotherly love, which is probably the worst of the fan base. As far as the opposing people, I'm sure that they love their team for the most part. But can you imagine in 1 year, living in Philadelphia? Yeah, Philadelphia. And they just made it almost there, only to choke at the end. Choked on it. Now, I guess they say maybe that was a fixed game because of the bad call. I don't know about that. Maybe so. And then we got some representation of a minor league team. What is the Tokyo Giants or something like that, or some kind of minor league team with those little evil eyes, or maybe it was something to do with Oh, maybe, what was that? Some kind of a monster truck? Snake eyes. I don't know. I know that there's a lot of hats to be worn, a lot of different things, and I had one up here that was pretty cool. Of course, now the Chicago Bulls, they're not any good. They haven't been any good since Jordan left, so we just kind of kicked them off the side and leave them up there. And let's see, what is this hat here? Oh, it's just a piece of junk. A piece of junk of a hat. No, here we go. Fresh off the thing there we go. It's a Houston Astro cap, which was good for this year. Yep, and they're expecting to have another good team, even though Mr. Verlander has left town. But that's okay. Mr. Verlander is gone, but they'll pick up somebody else. And I was hoping that they'd pick up my newfound friend Trevor Bauer, who's been released from the Dodgers, and let him come on over here. Even though Trevor has sort of caused a little bit of trouble, I still think he's one hell of a baseball player. And I think he got sidetracked there a little bit and might have got himself into a little trouble with those ladies. But I think some of that might have been drummed up on him, and he might have been duped by MLB just because he was causing a lot of trouble and he got set up. I don't know that for a fact. That's just rumors. But that's my starting that kind of rumor. Yeah, and looky here, what we got here. Now, this was either a military guy or a drummer in a band. As you can tell, I'm probably not much on the musical side of things, but I'm a man of many caps and many things, Many things, many things, many things. And even, I've been known to break out this old hat right here occasionally and keep my head covered up, my old bald head, and put a little flame on it. And, yeah, like that. Yeah. Yes, sir. That'll work too. There's hats all over this room, and just like guitars. Just because you wear a different kind of hat don't mean you're a different kind of person. Don't matter what kind of guitar you pick up. If you can't play it, well, that's it. You're not going to be able to play it. That's a 12-minute video about nothing, but it's something to entertain me and to keep me thinking about the different kind of hats that I wear in life, the meaning that those caps have to other people, and most of all, just this is about me, for me, and technically the only one that really cares about it is me.